Hello there, survivors. Today in ARK Medieval Goblins and Guilds, we continue the work on our main goblin camp base. I build a big new goblin hut for our Goblin Chieftan Bob, as well as finally starting to get into some of the farming. Today's mission is to get started with farming, and for that, we need a deer, a stag. So we're gonna go into the forest if it's not gonna be too cloudy and see if we can find one, because I think, there we go, I think they also spawn in this forest and I don't need to go all the way to the redwoods and right eye walls, and I don't think level matters for these, so we're just gonna find the first one we see. I probably should have bowled this guy, but I am very confident in my crossbow being able to knock this guy out quickly. There we go. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. That was quite smooth. Let's not get anything to hit this guy, and let's tame it. So it's a level 110. That's not too bad at all. That's actually quite good. So that is gonna be a perfect addition to the team, and that should get us automatic thatch collection in base. It's some kind of tree crafting station. I'll show it once we get back. All right, there we go. We've got it tamed, ready to go back home and see what this guy can do for us. Also, these goblins again with no hut. I think there might still be a bug though. Should we get rid of them just in case? Because we should be way stronger than them. Look at that. Perfect. Alright, let's go back home. Luckily, we do not have to go far at all. We can still see our base. And for a change, we also just have something that is quite fast at following us. So it's not much of a problem at all. All right, let's bring it all the way around, because I've been working on prepping a little area here for the farmers. I've actually bought some farmers as well, trying to figure out what they can do. And I think there's 4 types you could have. You could have one on egg collection, you know, going around collecting eggs, putting them in the basket. You can have one going around picking up poo and putting it in the composter. Then you can have one gathering thatch from the thatch machine, which is that thing over there, and putting it also in the composter to make compost. Then you have one guy that feeds your plants, and I think he also brings back whatever he's grown into this, I think. So one guy does the poo, one guy gets the fertilizer, one guy makes the plants or collects the plants. And then this thing is where they keep the fertilizer. So once it's made, it should be put into here by one of them. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work. I figured better get everything ready. So first of all, we're going to add this to the thatch machine. And then I need corn, I believe. So I guess before we can really effectively start doing this, we kind of need some corn, which I'm gonna have to check if I've got the seeds for that. I do have some corn seeds right here. All right, so I'm making myself a hoe. Okay, I've got my hoe. I've got some poo. I don't have fertilizer yet, so I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna grow this, but I think this is pretty, yeah, free in how we can do this. So let's just get some corn going over here. And we're gonna try to do this a little bit organized, I suppose. I guess I can probably just use some poo for now, instead of actual fertilizer. Because all we need is a few pieces of corn, and once we got that going, we should be able to, you know, start making the real deal with thatch and actual fertilizer. I guess we can also look for a dung beetle. But that means entering caves, and that might be a little bit tricky. Alright, something seems to be happening here, by the way. Something seems to start growing. Like, we've got something growing. I hope we have enough poo to make it fully grown. We'll see. I guess what I could do is just get some thatch and put it in the compost for now until we get more thatch growing as soon as we got the corn. That's probably the wisest decision. Oh yeah, also, by the way, I made this little farm area in my camp, I suppose. We've got the big tree, which is the thatch crafting station. We got this silo, which is where you keep the fertilizer. And then I made this little shack here on the side for the composter and the ice box that we need. Nothing too special, but we'll do the job. And beside that, I added a little wall here alongside the farming area to kind of try and keep this a little bit safe, although these goblins are trying to glitch through all the gates. I made multiple entrances actually for them just to try and get them to walk through them. And they sometimes do, but sometimes they just kind of seem to hog the fences a lot. But not to worry, they all seem to sort themselves out. So that's actually quite a good system. They kind of seem to get themselves unstuck if they are too stuck, you know. If they keep walking around in the same spot, they get unstuck after a while. And then I've also finished this little path going to the gate, so this is starting to look like a proper town, and we'll probably do some more building later on in the video. Oh, there we go. I finally have some plants that are fully grown. It took a while, and it took a lot of waiting here and making some extra fertilizers by hand, but finally we managed to grow something. Just the poo wasn't going to do. I think I might also need a recipe card in here. So this is not going to make me much thatch, but this should make me a little bit. So I guess this is what it does. And then eventually we'll get some thatch in here. And I think one of my dudes is going to gather that up from the thatch machine, bring it over to the composter, so that it gets combined with the poo and made into fertilizer. He might have picked it up and he might bring it there, and then the fertilizer will be stored over here, and that will be used for the plants that we make here. So I think for now we're just gonna try and maybe plant some more corn. There we go. So we're growing some more corn over here. We're also starting to grow some carrots and some potatoes. I don't really have any of the seeds. I was hoping that I had some cotton seeds because I need that for some of the progression. So gonna have to be on the lookout how to find that. Probably just have to do more loot goblins and drops. Alright, at least I dropped off all the corn that we've made so far in the thatch machine, so that should be going, and slowly but surely hopefully we can get this going. But I really like this mechanic, especially the fact that you can just make the crops grow anywhere. I feel like this is a major improvement and kind of what farming always should be. I feel like the crop plot should maybe just be for like decoration around your base. Maybe change it into some plant pots like the Bob Tortillas, you know, make them look a little bit more like decoration or indoor growing if you have like a greenhouse. But I feel like you should also be able to just grow them out on a field like this, because that would be so cool. Just make your own little proper farm. Okay, so the farm is set up, it's going. That probably will take a little bit. This might be some kind of a mid-season finale, because of course Extinction is coming up. Probably gonna be spending a lot of time on there, doing builds there, but I will definitely be returning to the medieval mod at some point, doing some more builds, so don't worry about that. We're definitely going to be coming back, because I still want to check out all the other building tiers from this mod. But as you can see, I've built a giant new goblin hut here for the chieftain, and I thought it would just be a nice opportunity to kind of take a look at everything we've built so far. So over here we got our first little goblin hut, very similar to the ones that spawn out in the world, but a little bit more roomy with yeah, just my little personal belongings, my own little house. Then over here we got the carpentry hut with some of all the wood-related crafting stations, so we can do all that work right over here. We've got a little kitchen out here as well, which has all the kitchen-related things in there, like these things, and I think I need like a kangaroo in there or something. Yeah, so all the cooking stuff is over here in this little hut, and then we got one more hut back here, which is like the main crafting hall. All the unrelated crafting stations go in here. We've got a bunch of them ready to do all the crafting that we need to do, because there's so many stations, but I love it. I love the look of all those. Definitely some cool vibes. And then, of course, the newly built farm is right over here in the corner, which, of course, has this thatch farm. It has all plants growing here, the little silo. I quite like the way this works. Of course, we're going to slowly grow out the farm to the entire corner over here, so we can grow lots of plants and make sure that we get a lot of the seeds going. Now it's mostly corn for thatch, but I think we need a lot of cotton and stuff like that as well, so I need to get those seeds and get those planted. But yeah, it's been good to get at least a little bit of that farm going and started right now. And I've now finally built the big chieftain's hut in the middle of the camp, which is actually quite big and roomy. It has some layers to it. So I've got a little walkway here out here, which is mostly built so that I could snap in this little shop for the shopkeeper, where we can buy the things, of course. I figured that would be a nice thing, and I did really want him to stay in his own little house because they look quite cool. They're unique, and you can't really replicate that with the structures you can place yourself. So I figured let's try to incorporate that in the current build design, and it kind of worked out by finding some ground that wasn't too high so I could still snap it, because it needs to be like snapped to a foundation into the ground. So yeah, this worked right over here, and I think it looks quite nice. You know, it's a little bit of asymmetry added to the build, but I think it works, and I love the little bone structure there. Then, of course, we got these side bits. For now, there's just some storage in here, so that I have some extra storage in the middle of the town. I think that would be quite smart. So it's kind of also functioning as my storage hole. And then here in the middle, the chieftain's hut, Bob, or captain or chieftain, is right here, standing glorious, and will be ready to meet me and fight with me if I need him and his help. And on this side, we've got the same little bit of storage around, which I think is going to be quite convenient. And then, of course, you can connect back up to the walkways, so you can go all the way around. And of course, there's also another exit right here, so I can basically go to any side from the chieftain's hut in the middle of the town, so that in the future, when we start adding more builds at the back of the town as well, if we progress further into the mod, we'll have all things central right here in the main chieftain's hut. And I kind of like the design. I also included some of these trophies to kind of make the bones return there as well. And then we got a similar kind of hut design in the middle, but then raised up the middle bit, the top bit of the hut, just to make it a little bit more pointy. And of course, some nice big gateways at the entrances here on the side, because they are just really nice with those skulls and everything. So yeah, wanted to have them there again, just to have as many bones and skulls as possible. And I do think it looks quite nice. It's got some nice big goblin vibes, so that's definitely going to be a nice and good addition for the town. As I said, this most likely will be some kind of season finale, or mid-season I should say, because it's definitely not the end. But just because of Extinction coming out for now, I'm probably going to be focused on that for a little bit. And then at some point, when we have some more time available, we'll return to the medieval mod and we'll do some more surviving. And also, I definitely want to do some more creative builds with all the other structure tiers. So if you could get any suggestions of builds you would like to see me try in this kind of style, let me know down in the comments, and I can pick those up as soon as we return to this mod. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of my new little goblin camp chieftain's hut, and I hope to see you around in the next video. Goodbye.